elderly man has been charged with murder after telling the authorities that he killed his wife because he was struggling to look after her. 80-year-old John Katopka had been married to his 78-year-old wife Janet for 57 years. They lived together with a 42-year-old son along the 1800 block of Dakota Street in Lincoln, Nebraska. About 2 years ago, Janet had been diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease and her health declined significantly, requiring constant supervision, causing John to feel exhausted. He was at his wit's end and felt like he couldn't tolerate the burden of caring for her anymore. But he was also concerned about the cost of sending her to a nursing home. John often had thoughts of hurting his wife, so on the 20th of June, at around 6:30 a.m. on Sunday, he decided to act on those thoughts, which was to rid him of this burden. That morning, the couple were in the living room together. John went upstairs to retrieve a handgun and loaded it. He then went downstairs and shot Janet once in the head. The son, who was awoken by the gunshot, rushed out of bed to find his mother in a critical condition, and he called 911. First responders arrived at the scene and transported Janet to the local hospital, where she died 3 days later. John was arrested about 1.5 hours after shooting his wife and was initially charged with assault and use of a firearm to commit a felony, but those charges were upgraded on the 30th of June to murder. He's been held at the Lancaster County Jail on a $500,000 bond. A woman has been arrested and charged in connection to a shooting in Middletown, Ohio, late Saturday night. 39-year-old Jasmine Foster is charged with felonious assault after allegedly shooting another woman in the back. At around 11:39 p.m. on the 3rd of July, police responded to the Kettering Hospital to speak to Tyjana Walton, who was wounded from the gunshot. She told the authorities that an altercation ensued while she was sitting in the car at the 1900 block of Minnesota Street. During the altercation, a gun was fired and she was struck in the back, and she was then driven to the hospital. After investigating the matter, detectives identified Foster as the alleged shooter. Foster was arrested and charged with felonious assault, and she's been held in custody at the Middletown City Jail. A man was arrested and charged after he bit off part of another man's ear. The incident occurred on the 29th of June when authorities were dispatched to Furnace Street in Elyria, Ohio, on reports of 2 men who were fighting. A man had kicked down the front door of a home and then bit off a man's ear. The police were told the suspect, later identified as Ricky Michaels, took off on a motorcycle. When they arrived at the premises, they found the victim covered in blood, with part of his right ear completely bitten off. He also had bite marks on his arm and cuts to his face and neck. A woman at the home told the investigators that the suspect is the father to her children and she'd been living with the victim. Shortly after the incident, the deputies located Michaels. When they spoke with him, he said, "She took the kids and wouldn't let me see them. I went over there and a new boyfriend didn't like that, so we fought and I bit him." Michaels was arrested on charges of felonious assault and aggravated burglary.